Why are weak squares crucial for chess middlegame maneuvering? Imagine a battlefield where certain spots on the ground are harder to defend than others. In chess, these spots are called weak squares. They are squares on the board that cannot be protected or controlled by pawns, making them prime targets for your pieces. When you spot a weak square, it's like finding a soft spot in your opponent's armor. These squares can become strongholds for your knights or bishops, allowing you to push deep into enemy territory. In the middle game, pawns often move forward and stay fixed, which can create permanent weak squares that neither side can easily defend. Once a pawn moves away from a square, that square becomes weak if no pawn can jump back to cover it. This is why controlling or occupying these weak squares is so important. A knight placed on a weak square can control many key squares around it, acting like a pivot point for attacks or defenses. These knights on weak squares can be as powerful as a rook or a queen because they threaten multiple enemy pieces and support your own plans. Weak squares near the center or close to the enemy's king are especially valuable. Controlling these areas can give you influence over the entire board and even threaten the opponent's king directly. On the other hand, weak squares near your own king can be dangerous if the opponent manages to occupy them. They could serve as launching points for attacks, so you need to be careful about which weak squares you allow your opponent to control. In middlegame strategy, players often look for weak squares to either strengthen their own position or weaken their opponents. You might maneuver your pieces to control these squares, or you might try to occupy them with your knights or bishops. Sometimes, you can set up a battery by lining up your pieces on a rank, file, or diagonal to increase pressure on a weak square. This kind of play can restrict your opponent's mobility and create tactical threats that are hard to ignore. Focusing on weak squares helps improve your piece activity and coordination. It also makes it harder for your opponent to find safe squares for their pieces. By controlling or exploiting weak squares, you can shape the flow of the game and set up future attacks or defenses. It's a key part of middle game planning because these points of vulnerability or strength often decide how the game unfolds. So, in the end, weak squares are like hidden doors or secret passages on the battlefield. Knowing how to control them can give you a real advantage, helping you push forward or hold your ground in the complex dance of chess.